You guys ever hear a band that you hear a song by them and you're like, "Oh my, who is that and how do I hear more of them?" I'm going to be talking about one of those bands that I heard last week and I was like, "Oh my, who is that and how do I hear more of them?" Today on Tofer's Tunes. So I was riding home from church with one of my friends last week and he played this song. I think it was Unbreakable by Zahna. And I was like, wow, I want to hear more of this. So I found some of her stuff on YouTube and ended up buying the album. Now, I am unfamiliar with her work prior to this. I know she was in a band before this, but as an introduction to her and her music, this album, Red for War, was wow. I mean, she has an awesome voice, solid female lead, and she uses it to sing and scream. You throw in that she rocks out with the best of them, and there's some really cool industrial sounding stuff on it. I would compare her styles to maybe Grip or Love and Death, possibly Clank, that mix between rock and industrial. Like her song Was I Bad? Probably my favorite on the album. And it starts aggressive. It's in your face. Now, as much praise as I will give this album, as awesome as I liked it, there's one and a half drawbacks, in my opinion, and neither of these two things are really a drawback. It's just the album makes me want more, honestly. And I would like more of these on the album. Like I said, the first couple of tracks are really aggressive. They're really solid. Like I said earlier, mix that industrial and like hard rock sound together, like in beautiful perfection. And then it kind of slows down for like 2 or 3 songs, picks up, little, and then slows down. I would like to see maybe on her sophomore album more of the aggressive style. Now, don't get me wrong, I like the slow stuff. The slower stuff is pretty good. The album closes with a ballad, and what I'd consider a ballad. It's like a slow song, and I think that's what the album needed for a closing one. I think with her voice doing that mellow song at the end, kind of ties it together a lot. And so I'm not dissing the slow stuff, not at all. But I just wish it was a little bit more heavier. The other thing is, and like I said, not discounting this at all. This is not a bad thing at all. It's just something I wish there was more of. Lyrically, you can tell that she's a believer just by the content of the message that she brings and what she talks about throughout, in the album, and how she approaches it. However, she doesn't quote scripture directly, and if you know me, you know that's a deal. You know, I love it when metal bands, you know, especially metal bands, you know, tie in a verse to one of their songs. And yeah, she talked about her faith, but I couldn't really pick one verse that she quoted or paraphrased, you know, or whatnot throughout the whole music. Now, I might be missing something, you know, in it, but I just didn't hear it. So overall, what rating would I give to Zahna's debut album, Red for War? I'd say probably 8.75. You know, between 8.75 and 9. I mean, is it a perfect album? You know, no. I think that, like I said, there's room for improvement on some of the stuff. And I know perfection varies from person to person, but I think this is solid. I think it's really solid. If you are a fan of rock or industrial, you know, you should definitely pick up this album because it is worth your money. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys today. Y'all take care. Peace.